Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. Jonathan Gannon. Green Bay just hired Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator. The man who built the Philadelphia Eagles into an absolute machine. 70 sacks in his final year running that defense. 70. And listen, I am not here to break down quarters coverage today. I am not explaining cover 4 to anybody. You want the scheme breakdown? Go find one of those football nerds online. I love them. God bless them. But that is not what we are doing right now. Right now, we are talking about something simpler. Something that connects directly to why this draft might be the most important thing Green Bay does all offseason. Pack Nation, follow the logic chain with me. Stay with me here. How does Jonathan Gannon get sacks? To get a sack, the quarterback has to be in the pocket. For the quarterback to be in the pocket, the offense has to be passing. And for them to be passing, they cannot be running. You follow what I'm saying? If the offense can just hand the ball off all day, run it down your throat on first and second down, stay ahead of the chains, drain the clock, they never have to throw. And if they never throw, it does not matter how many stunts Gannon draws up. It does not matter how good Micah Parsons is. It does not matter if we have the greatest defensive coordinator in the history of the NFL on our sideline, because he does not have the foundation he needs underneath him. And that foundation is a nose tackle, a big, mean, 320-pound nose tackle who takes on double teams and does not move, who makes offensive linemen miserable just by showing up. That is the missing piece. That is what we have got to fix in this draft. But first, I need to tell you a story. Now look, some of you just heard me talk for 30 seconds and you're thinking, Sal, you do not sound like you grew up ice fishing in Marinette County. And you are right. I am from Jersey, northern Jersey. I came up here when I married Darlene. Never went back, no regrets. But I still talk like I'm about to order a sandwich at a diner off the turnpike. And there is absolutely nothing anybody can do about that. Not even Darlene, and she has tried. Back in Jersey, I knew a guy, Big Bobby Ferrante. Bobby worked the door at this bar in Hackensack. I am not naming the place because I am about 70% sure at least 2 things happening inside it on a Friday night were not fully legal. But the point is, Bobby was enormous. 6'4", 300 and some pounds, arms like telephone poles. And you know what happened when Bobby was standing at that door? Nothing. Nothing happened. People would walk up, see Bobby planted there like a piece of furniture that grew fist, do the math at about half a second and just turn around, go home, reconsider the whole night, because his presence, before anyone made a single move, changed the entire calculation. Bobby took one night off. They put some skinny kid on the door. Nice guy, I'm sure. God bless him. And by 10 o'clock, there were 3 separate incidents, and somebody threw an actual pool cue across the room. 3 incidents in one night. That is what it means to not have a nose tackle. Offensive coordinators see nobody big in the middle, nobody eating double teams and holding the point of attack, and they reach for run plays every single drive. 1st and 10, run it. 2nd and 7, run it. 3rd and 2, absolutely run it. Your linebackers are chasing. Your ends are grinding. And by the 4th quarter, your pass rushers are standing there, hands on their knees, while Gannon stares at his tablet like a man who just found out somebody ate his lunch. We gave up on nose tackle. We gave up Kenny Clark, who anchored this defense for years as part of the deal that brought in Micah Parsons. And look, I love that trade. I was doing backflips, spiritual backflips, because my actual knees have not been cleared for that since 2014. But Parsons is generational, and I stand by it. But the run defense suffered badly in 2025. Teams figured out that if you kept your head down and ran the football, Eventually, that middle would crack, and it did. Not always early, but late in games, when it mattered most, the soft middle was getting exposed. And Gannon cannot do what Gannon does without somebody clogging that gap first. Which brings us to the 2026 draft. And Pack Nation, I have got some good news and some challenging news, and you are going to want to hear both. The good news, this draft class has some real nose tackle options. Guys with size, power, the kind of anchor ability that can change the defensive line overnight. The challenging news, we do not pick until around pick 52 in the second round. And the top guys, they are probably going to be long gone by the time Green Bay is on the clock. Of course they are. The two names everybody keeps throwing around at the top of this nose tackle class. Caden McDonald out of Ohio State and Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. McDonald, 6'3", 326 pounds. A throwback nose tackle this league does not produce very often. 3 sacks, 9 pressures, and over 200 pass rush snaps. Not just a run stuffer, a guy who helps you on third down too. And Hunter out of Texas Tech, 6'4", 325 pounds. A scheme-wrecking run stuffer with length, leverage, and a mean streak that coaches love. Both of them are almost certainly going to be off the board before we get to pick 52. Are you hearing this? Am I crazy? Tell me I am crazy. I am not crazy. So here is where the Packers have to be smart. You cannot sit back and say, oh, well, the top guys are gone. Let's see what happens. No! You find the value. You find the guy who falls. You find the diamond some other teams, jag-off scouts overlooked. And the name I keep coming back to, the guy I believe could still be on the board late in the second round, is Chris McClellan out of Missouri. 6'3", 320 pounds. This man had 48 tackles and 6 sacks in 2025. 6 from a nose tackle. You understand how rare that is? Most nose tackles, you are thrilled to get 2.5 on the season. McClellan started at Florida, transferred to Missouri, and just exploded. He can anchor the run and push the pocket. If he falls to 52, you do not think, you do not blink, you do not trade down. You take him and you say, thank you. Stay with me. 2 more names. There is DeMonte Capehart out of Clemson, 6'4", 320 pounds. Advanced scouts love this kid. A bear at the point of attack. Does not always light up the box score, but makes every offensive lineman across from him have a very long Sunday. He frees up your linebackers and makes Parsons' job easier by eating 2 blockers so someone else can go free. Projected 3rd round, maybe late second. Green Bay should be that team that takes him early. And then you have got Dominique Orange out of Iowa State. 6'4", 325 pounds. The talent is there, but I have heard from team sources that this kid may not always be the hardest worker in the building, and that is why he will fall to the 3rd or 4th round, when he should be a 2nd round pick. If you are going to be the guy in the middle, the guy whose whole job is absorbing punishment so everyone else makes plays, you had better want the dirty work, because nobody puts you in a highlight reel. Nobody builds your social media following around a 2-yard tackle for loss that sets up 3rd and 7 for Parsons to feast on. My daughter came home from school last week. She is 11. And she says, Daddy, my teacher told us the most important job is usually the one nobody notices until it is gone. And I stopped what I was doing and I just stared at the wall, because that is nose tackle. That is exactly what we are missing right now. The guy nobody talks about. The guy who makes everything else possible. And Darlene walked in and saw me standing there frozen over the kitchen sink, and she just shook her head and walked away. She knew. So, Pack Nation, watch this draft. When the second round starts and these names come off the board, McClellan, Capehart, whoever is still standing, you watch what Green Bay does. Because if the Packers walk out of Pittsburgh without a legitimate nose tackle, Gannon's system gets limited before it ever gets started. You cannot get to the quarterback if you cannot stop the run. You cannot stop the run without a Bobby Ferrante in the middle. And we do not have a Bobby Ferrante in the middle right now. Fix it, Gutekunst. Give Gannon the foundation he needs. Give Parsons a partner who does the dirty work nobody celebrates. And give Big Sal something to smile about for a change. If you're getting value out of this show, subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment and tell me which nose tackle you want the Packers to take. I read every single one. I am Big Sal from Jersey by way of Peshtigo. And until that middle of the defensive line is fixed, let me tell you something, Pack Nation, we are going to keep talking about it.